In the heart of a bustling city where neon lights masked the secrets of dark alleyways and whispers of the past mingled with the present, there lived a woman named Liana. Her life had been a mosaic of shattered dreams and silent battles, a tapestry woven from the threads of pain, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of liberation. Yet, beneath the layers of hardship and despair, Liana nurtured a spark that ignited her will to transform her existence through self-defense and self-discovery. From early age, Liana had known what it meant to be vulnerable. Life had thrown at her a barrage of challenges, leaving her bruised not only in body but in spirit. Raised in an environment where every day was a struggle for survival, she had learned to navigate the complexities of a world that often showed no mercy. It was in those formative years, amidst the backdrop of uncertainty and the chill of isolation, that Liana began to dream of a life beyond shadows. She envisioned a future where fear no longer dictated her choices, a future where she could reclaim her power and shape her destiny with deliberate intent. As the years passed, the wounds of her past deepened, and the memories of betrayal began to manifest in unexpected ways. Liana's journey through life was marked by moments when she felt cornered by fate, when every step she took seemed laden with the weight of regret and sorrow. There were nights when she lay awake, haunted by the echoes of whispered threats and the remnants of a love that had betrayed her trust. In those moments, she questioned if there was any escape from the cycle of despair that had defined her existence for so long. Yet, even in her darkest hours, an inner voice urged her to rise, to seek a way to defend not only her body but her very soul. It was during one such night, when the moon was a mere sliver in the inky sky, that Liana found herself wandering the empty streets. The city, with its unyielding pulse and ceaseless noise, seemed to mirror the tumult within her heart. In a moment of profound clarity, she realized that her past would no longer hold dominion over her future. That night, standing beneath a flickering street lamp, Liana made a silent vow, a promise to herself that she would no longer be a victim of circumstance. She would arm herself with knowledge, skill, and an unbreakable spirit. She would learn the art of self-defense and reclaim the power that had been stolen from her. The journey began at a modest community center nestled in a forgotten corner of the city, a place where determination was as palpable as the scent of sweat and resolve. Under the watchful eyes of seasoned instructors, Liana stepped onto the mat for the first time. The room buzzed with energy as others, each carrying their own scars, moved with purpose and discipline. With every jab, every practiced maneuver, she felt a gradual transformation. The physical act of self-defense became a metaphor for her inner strength, a language through which she communicated to herself and the world that she was no longer afraid. Every bruise was a badge of honor, every drop of perspiration a testament to her burgeoning power. Yet, Liana's path was not without obstacles. Alongside the rigorous training sessions, she found herself entangled in a mystery that would alter the course of her life. In the weeks following her first steps towards self-empowerment, strange occurrences began to punctuate her days. Late at night, as she returned home from training, she noticed unfamiliar shadows lurking near her apartment building. A cryptic note was slipped under her door one morning, its contents a riddle that hinted at a hidden truth buried deep within the labyrinth of her past. The note read only, "The key to your freedom lies where your scars are hidden." For Liana, who had long concealed the physical and emotional marks of her past, this message stirred something deep within her, a mix of fear, curiosity, and a yearning for closure. Haunted by the enigma of the note, Liana embarked on a parallel quest, a journey to uncover the secrets of a past that she had fought so hard to forget. Every clue led her down forgotten streets and into the recesses of old neighborhoods where memories lingered like faded photographs. In a dusty attic of a long-abandoned building, she discovered a box wrapped in brittle paper and tied with a fraying ribbon. Inside, she found a collection of personal mementos, letters filled with passionate declarations and sorrowful goodbyes, a delicate necklace that had once adorned her neck during a time of innocence, and a faded diary that chronicled a love that had promised the world but delivered heartache instead. Each item in that mystery box was a shard of her past, a reminder of the moments when she had been vulnerable and unguarded. As she read through the diary, Liana's heart pounded with the bittersweet realization that the love she had once known was intertwined with betrayal and loss. The diary recounted a love affair that had promised protection and solace, only to leave her exposed and wounded. The words on the fragile pages spoke of dreams shattered by deceit, of hopes dashed against the harsh rocks of reality. And yet, within the sorrow, there were glimmers of hope, a promise that even in the deepest darkness, one could find the strength to rise again. Driven by a newfound determination, Liana merged her two quests, the pursuit of physical empowerment and the unraveling of her painful past. The self-defense classes became more than a means of learning to protect herself. They evolved into a sanctuary where she could channel her anger, pain, and the desire for liberation. Each movement on the mat was a reclaiming of power. Every fall and subsequent rise was a reminder that resilience was forged in the fires of adversity. With every passing day, the scars that once marked her as a victim began to tell a story of survival and transformation. But the mystery was far from over. As Liana delved deeper into her own history, she uncovered connections that linked her past to a larger, more sinister web of deceit. The anonymous note, the secret box, and the cryptic messages began to align with fragments of information she found while scouring old records and dusty archives at the local library. There were whispers of a clandestine organization, an enigmatic network that had manipulated lives and destinies from behind the veil of anonymity. Rumors spoke of a powerful figure who orchestrated the downfall of those who dared to challenge the status quo, using secrets and lies as weapons to control the vulnerable. Liana's journey, it seemed, was not just about healing herself, but also about exposing the dark forces that had once conspired to crush her spirit. Late one rain-soaked evening, as thunder rolled in the distance and the city's neon lights blurred into a surreal watercolor, Liana received another note. This one was more explicit, a warning, perhaps, or a beckoning toward a confrontation she could no longer avoid. The note instructed her to meet a contact in an abandoned industrial warehouse on the edge of town. With her heart pounding in her chest and her mind swirling with conflicting emotions, Liana knew that this meeting could either be the breakthrough she desperately needed or a trap set by those who wished to keep her in the dark. Gathering every ounce of courage she had cultivated through months of grueling training and introspection, Liana ventured into the night. The warehouse loomed ahead, a derelict structure whose broken windows and rusted metal spoke of a long-forgotten era. As she stepped inside, the sound of her footsteps echoed in the cavernous space. Shadows shifted in the flickering light of a lone, swinging bulb, and the air was thick with anticipation and the scent of oil and decay. In a secluded corner of the vast space, a figure emerged, a man whose presence was both reassuring and enigmatic. He introduced himself only as Gabriel, a name that carried with it the weight of promise and mystery. Gabriel claimed to have known about Liana's struggle long before she discovered the notes, and he hinted at a connection between her past and the powerful forces that had once controlled her destiny. He spoke in hushed tones, his voice resonating with both empathy and urgency. According to Gabriel, Liana's journey of self-defense was not a solitary path. It was part of a larger narrative, a battle against an organization that thrived on the exploitation of the vulnerable, using fear and manipulation to control lives. Gabriel revealed fragments of a conspiracy that spanned decades, detailing how the organization had targeted individuals like Liana, exploiting their weaknesses and then offering them a twisted form of help that ultimately kept them bound to a cycle of control. His words painted a picture of a covert network that thrived on secrets. Secrets that could only be unraveled by those who dared to defy the darkness. For Liana, The revelations were both a shock and a validation of everything she had felt deep within her soul. The pain of her past, the betrayal by those she had once trusted, and the endless nights of self-doubt were all pieces of a puzzle that now, slowly, began to take shape. Over the next several months, Liana and Gabriel worked in tandem to piece together the true extent of the conspiracy. By day, Liana continued her rigorous self-defense training, her body and mind honed to perfection through relentless practice. By night, she and Gabriel gathered evidence, uncovered hidden connections, and forged alliances with others who had suffered at the hands of the shadowy organization. Their investigation led them to abandoned warehouses, underground meeting spots, and secret archives that held the key to understanding the true nature of the enemy they faced. Every encounter was fraught with danger, every clue a potential trigger for a violent backlash. Yet, driven by a resolve that had been forged in the crucible of her personal trauma, Liana pressed forward with unwavering determination. In the midst of her mission, Liana experienced moments of profound introspection. Late at night, as she lay awake in the solitude of her modest apartment, she would reflect on the journey that had brought her here. Memories of a time when she had been powerless and afraid intermingled with the fierce resolve of the woman she had become, a woman who no longer allowed fear to dictate her life. She began to understand that true strength was not measured solely by the ability to fend off physical danger, but by the courage to confront one's inner demons and to transform pain into purpose. With every challenge, every near miss with the unseen forces that sought to keep her in bondage, Liana grew stronger. Her body became a testament to her resilience, each bruise a reminder that she was learning to defend not only herself, but the ideals of freedom and truth. The investigation took an unexpected turn when Liana uncovered evidence that implicated individuals from her own past, people she had once considered friends, even mentors, who had unknowingly played a role in the machinations of the organization. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical blow, shaking the very foundations of her trust. Yet, instead of succumbing to despair, Liana channeled that pain into action. Each revelation became a stepping stone toward dismantling the network that had haunted her for so long. In a series of heart-pounding confrontations, she exposed the culprits one by one, revealing the dark underbelly of a system that thrived on silence and subjugation. One fateful evening, as autumn leaves danced in the chill wind and the city was cloaked in an eerie stillness, Liana found herself at the center of a storm of revelations. With Gabriel at her side, she orchestrated a daring operation to infiltrate the headquarters of the organization, a high-rise building whose glass facade masked the sinister dealings within. Under the cover of darkness, armed with her self-defense skills and an arsenal of resolve, she slipped past security and navigated the labyrinthine corridors of power. Every step was a calculated risk, every breath a defiant challenge to the forces that had long kept her chained to the past. In the heart of the building, Liana uncovered a trove of incriminating documents and recordings, evidence that exposed the organization's role in orchestrating not only personal betrayals, but systemic abuses that had ruined countless lives. The revelations were damning, and as she transmitted the information to trusted allies, a cascade of consequences began to unfold. The public, once oblivious to the machinations of the covert network, now awoke to the truth, and the walls of silence began to crumble under the weight of accountability. The subsequent media frenzy was both cathartic and chaotic, a symphony of outrage and redemption that heralded the fall of a long-standing empire of control. Yet, amid the chaos of the external battle, Liana found that the true struggle was one of inner reconciliation. The scars of her past, the moments of anguish and self-doubt, continued to resurface even as she fought to dismantle the oppressive regime. In quiet moments of reflection, she would revisit the memories that had once tormented her, the isolation, the betrayal, the countless nights when she had felt utterly alone. But now, those memories were transformed into a source of strength, a reminder that every challenge had led her to this defining moment of liberation. In the aftermath of her daring expose, as the dust settled on the ruins of the organization, Liana stood at a crossroads, a juncture where the remnants of a painful past converged with the promise of a brighter future. The journey had been long and fraught with peril, but had also forged a new identity within her, a woman who had mastered not only the art of self-defense, but also the courage to fight for justice and truth. With every scar that marred her skin and every memory etched into her heart, she had learned that the path to healing was paved with resilience and the unyielding belief in one's own worth. In the days that followed, as the city slowly emerged from the shock of the revelations, Liana embraced a newfound sense of purpose. She dedicated herself to training others, teaching self-defense classes, mentoring survivors of abuse, and sharing her story as a beacon of hope for those who felt trapped in the darkness. Her journey, once defined by solitary struggle, now became a collective movement, a testament to the transformative power of courage and the enduring spirit of resistance. The woman who had once been silenced by fear now spoke with a voice that resonated with authority, compassion, and the wisdom of hard-won experience. Every sunset, as Liana sat on a quiet rooftop overlooking the city's sprawling skyline, she reflected on the winding path that had brought her here. The battles fought on concrete floors and in shadowy corridors were now woven into the tapestry of her life. A tapestry that told a story of redemption, of the relentless pursuit of a better life, and of the power that comes from embracing one's true self. In that delicate interplay between light and darkness, she discovered that even the most harrowing experiences could be transformed into a source of hope, a hope that transcended the boundaries of pain and blossomed into a future defined by freedom and dignity. And so, as the city continued its ceaseless rhythm and the seasons changed in a silent promise of renewal, Liana's story lived on. It was a story that captured the essence of what it means to fight for one's life, to rise above the forces that seek to break the spirit, and to forge a destiny that is both personal and universal. In the echo of her footsteps on worn pavement and the determined gaze in her eyes, there was the unmistakable truth that a single spark, in the midst of darkness, could ignite a revolution of the soul. The journey of self-defense and transformation, of unraveling mysteries and reclaiming power, remains an eternal testament to the resilience of the human heart. Liana's legacy, built on the foundation of painful lessons and triumphant victories, serves as a reminder that every setback is but a prelude to a comeback, and that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the choice to fight for a better life is the most profound act of self-love. Her story, filled with suspense, mystery, and the relentless pulse of determination, continues to inspire those who dare to dream of a world where no one is defined by their past, but is empowered by the strength to change it.